Lesson 05, Graph Equations of Lines. The simplest way to graph is to make a table. So you choose a reasonable range of x values. So you have x's and y's. I don't know, maybe, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Maybe a 3 and a -3, I don't know. Substitute the x values into your function to find the corresponding y values. You plot those points on a coordinate plane, this thing, and draw a line through the points. This always works, assuming that you choose a good bunch of x values. That is how your calculator, if you have a graphing calculator, will make its graphs. So let's graph y equals x squared minus 3. So let's make a table. Now let's choose things like, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. So we could take our first number, plug it in, so it's x squared minus 3, be 9 minus 3, which is 6. And then we could plug in our next number, squared minus 3, that's 4 minus 3 is 1. That could get old really quick. But if you have a graphing calculator, or even a scientific calculator, such as the TI-30XS multi-view to make tables, here's my calculator, the NumWorks. And if I go to Grapher, I can add an element. So x squared minus 3, enter. Then I can go to Table. I have mine set to go from -10 to +10. If yours isn't, you can either just type in the x values or go up to set the interval, and it will remember for you. So look, -3 is 6, -2 is 1, -1 is -2, 0 is -3, 1 is -2, 2 is 1, and 3 is 6. Now you say, but can't I just look at the graph? Oh, hey, look at that nice curve, and just put that on my paper? Well, your graphs need to be accurate. To make your graphs accurate, you're going to actually have to plot points. Hence making a table so you can see the points to plot. So let's plot our points. -3, 6. -2, 1. -1, -2. 0, -3. 1, -2, 2, 1, and 3, 6. And then you can draw a nice curve through those points. So you want it to go through the correct points. You must plot points. Don't just look at your graphing calculator and draw a rough sketch. Make sure it goes to the correct points. And if your scale is not going by ones, like this is 1, 2, 3, then you have to write in the scale if it's something different. But aren't there any shortcuts, you say? Well, sure, we could use slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. M is the slope and b is the y-intercept. The y-intercept is the point where your graph crosses the y-axis. So that's the y-intercept. So that gives us 1 point. The slope gives us the way the line is going. Now this is for lines, straight lines, like it wouldn't have worked for the last one, which was the curve. So to graph, you solve your equation for y, plot the y-intercept. From there, you're going to move up and over the slope to find another couple of points. So we want several points. In fact, you could go backwards and get more points too. And draw a line neatly through the points. Maybe you could use a ruler to get a straight line. So let's try graphing y equals negative 2x. If I compare this to y equals mx plus b, you can see that our slope is negative 2, and our b is, well, it's not there, so it's 0. So start at the 0, and our slope is negative 2, or negative 2 over 1. So I'm going to go down 2 and 1 to the right. And we could do that again. Maybe again. Or we could go backwards. Instead, we could go up 2 and 1 to the left. You get a whole bunch of points that way and draw a line through them. Let's try another one. Again, compare this to y equals mx plus b. You can see what's in front of the x. It's 1x. So our slope is 1, or 1 over 1, and our b is negative 3. We're going to start at negative 3 in the y-axis, the red dot. And since our slope is 1, we're going to go up 1 over 1 to the right. We could do that again. Or we could go backwards, down 1 and 1 to the left. Do it a bunch of times, get a bunch of points, draw a nice line. Try another one. Now remember from Algebra 1, the f of x is the same thing as y. Wait, that format doesn't look quite right, so let's rearrange it. F of x is the same as y, but let's put the x first. It'll be the same as negative x plus 2. If we do that, we see our slope is negative 1, and our b is 2. So we're going to start at 2 on the y-axis, the green dot. And our slope's negative 1, or negative 1 over 1. So we'll go down 1 and to the right 1. Or I could go up 1 and left 1. So going backwards. Do that a whole bunch of times and draw a nice line. But what if the line's not in slope-intercept form? Well, you could solve it for y and put it into slope-intercept form. But there is a shortcut if it is in standard form. ax plus by equals c, where usually a, b, and c are integers. To graph it that way, you get 2 points. You get the x and the y-intercepts. And if they're separated, if they're not both 0 or both very close to 0, this gives you a good shortcut. If they're 0 or close to 0, then you'll probably want to solve it for y and do it in slope-intercept form. But to find the x and y-intercepts, you let the other variable be 0. So for example, to find the x-intercept, we let y be 0. So where the y is, we put a nice 0. b times 0 is 0, because anything times 0 is 0. And then we'll divide both sides by the a to get the x by itself. So x is c divided by a. That would be your x-intercept. The y-intercept, you let x equal 0. Anything times 0 is 0. Divide by b. So y is c divided by b. It's your y-intercept. So notice both of those are c divided by either the a or the b. So whatever letter you're looking for. If I want the x, I'll divide it by a. If I want the y, I'll divide it by b. Plot those 2 points and draw a nice line through those 2 points. Yes, you'll probably want a ruler. Horizontal lines are in the form y equals c, where c is a number, like y equals 2. The horizontal line up here at 2. And vertical lines are in the form x equals c, like x equals 3, which would be a vertical line here at 3. So let's try graphing in standard form. You could solve it for y, and you do just fine. Let's go ahead and find the intercepts. So our x-intercept is when the y is 0, which ends up being 10 divided by the 2, which is 5. So I can put a point on the x at 5. Well, I got both points. The y-intercept, I make x 0 and solve for y, which ends up being 10 divided by 5, or 2. So I have the x-intercept and the y-intercept, and then you just draw a line connecting them. All right, x equals 1. Find a point where x is 1, and it is a vertical line. And then we have y equals -4. This is y equals, so it is horizontal. So you find -4 on the y and draw a horizontal line. Enjoy. Have a good day.